This is how much money I made in just 14 days of Shopify dropshipping with TikTok ads. And I'm going to press reload to prove to you that these results are completely real. As you can see, this was what we made in January. Let me teach you exactly how I did it so you can try and do it for yourself. So dropshipping is basically a process where it lets me sell products directly to the customers without even needing a place to store them. I basically pay a supplier to send it directly to the person who buys it, and then I collect the profits in the end without even needing to do any posting myself. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you my personal TikTok ads testing and scaling strategy that I'm using to scale my product up right now, to show you what's working for me right now so you can hopefully take it for yourself and try and make some serious money with it. All I ask for you is to subscribe to the channel, because all I want to do is give you some free value in this video and help you out. As you can see, this is yesterday's results, just to prove to you that these are actually still working right now, and I'm doing some pretty high revenue days consistently. Now, before I get into this strategy, I do actually just want to mention one thing. I actually only got here because I did extensive product research to actually find this product, because you need to know what's hot right now and what's trending or working in the market, what's people's buying intent leaning towards, to then find that key opportunity to position yourself in the right place and find what to actually sell. Because if you're not validating products first and you're just randomly scrambling to test random things, you're not going to make any money and you're just going to waste money testing. If you're struggling with finding products which actually work and really convert and make some real sales, and you're tired of spending countless hours scrambling trying to find things during product research just for your ads to then end up flopping, then let me tell you something which I've been using for quite a while now, and it's an absolute game changer. This is Miner. There's a bunch of premium product lists which you can unlock, which features the top 100 winning products on Facebook, on TikTok, and also on Pinterest, along with top 100 trending e-commerce shops which are converting right now. This will show you a ton of ads on each of these platforms that people are selling right now and making a whole bunch of money with. As you can see, there's so many suggestions. They found winning creatives and winning shops for you to check out. Also, along with the top 10 products of the day on each platform, these are the best performing ad creatives from the last few months. You can watch them and then learn from them, or download them and rip them, but I don't condone that. Now, the Ad Spy tool is the main core of why I actually like this, because you can actually dive deep into the actual data of things. So yet again, we can have a look at Facebook, Pinterest, or TikTok, and this brings you things like weekly winners, what's working right now, the monthly best performers, and also even the Q4 winners from the previous year. But the filters basically let you hone in on the perfect products by the dates, the media type, do you want to have a look at images or video ads, the engagement such as likes, comments, and shares, and also we can filter by Shopify products. And we can filter specific dropshipping only products to find people who are selling with dropshipping, so we can actually filter out the brands who obviously have their own custom products. Now, if you're looking to scale, the shops browser is something which is quite useful because it shows people who are actually performing well. We can see products which are selling a lot. For example, this Australian gadget shop. We can have a look at who's converting a lot on Facebook, who's converting a lot on TikTok. Then we can see high ticket stores. So these are stores selling products for expensive prices, dropshipping only stores, and also single one product stores which are only selling one winning product. This is how we can find items that could skyrocket our success, and we could find brands which are selling things which are quite untapped. Now, for those of you guys who've watched my channel for literally months, you can go back and look at my old videos and you can see I've genuinely actually been using Miner in product research for a very long time. The product research tool is actually a feature that's helped me actually spot some pretty good trending products before the competition. This has some of the same filters and we can find winning products on all different platforms here. To be honest, I prefer this from the Ad Spy because it actually lets us see which products are working, and then we can take a look at ads from multiple competitors on those products. Now, if we click on a product such as this shower head and then we press see more, what I really do like is this generate for Shopify function, which basically slashes the product listing and testing times, and it saves you a whole bunch of time. You can basically select the language, then you can select an AI generated product name as well as some features that you can type in, or use the pre-generated ones such as the ones that they've generated on the list with AI. Then it will generate you an SEO optimized product description with sales copy and images in seconds, and then we can just list this directly on our Shopify store. So we can list products really quickly instead of spending hours setting them up before we test them. So if you're aggressively testing a lot of products, this saves you a whole bunch of time. There's also an influencer section here on Miner which allows you to do influencer marketing. This allows you to connect with some influencers who can actually promote your brand, which is particularly good if you're actually going the branded route or if you want to white label a product. If you want to dominate social media like TikTok and Instagram, you might want to hire some of these creators to actually promote your product and offer a little bit more social proof. You can also take a look at promotions which other brands are making right now with some of these influencers to see how they actually promote their brand through the influencers to get an idea on how you can do influencer marketing yourself. There's some good insights with this tool. Now, the success radar is a list that not everyone is going to have access to. This basically comes with a business plan, which I have, and it basically offers a list of hot products which updates every few hours, which have competition scores here, which basically shows how competitive a product is and how saturated it is. So you can identify unsaturated winners. So products which have the highest score are usually typically popular, but they're the least saturated. So you can hopefully identify those products where there's room in the market still to sell them. The magic search function is also quite useful. We could type in a keyword, for an example, projector, and we could search for products on the different ad platforms which match this key phrase, and it'll find us those products. You can also click search by image here and upload an image to also search for a product with it. Not to mention, on the product pages themselves, you can also click this button which says find suppliers. This basically allows you to quickly find a supplier for the product, such as Zendrop or AliExpress, where you can find someone who can fulfill it for your customer. So if you're struggling to source a product, you can find it on Miner and then find a supplier to actually source it for you. If you're ready to take dropshipping seriously this year and get some serious sales, it's important that you focus more on your product research. And if you don't know how to validate a product, then using a tool like Miner can really help you to do so and gain an edge over the competition, particularly because they're offering you all the data and they're doing the research for you. So you basically save a bunch of time by using this tool, and you can analyze the market a lot easier than manually scrolling through social media. Check out the link in the description down below, deanalma.com/miner, if you do want to check out this tool. Sign up right now and just see the difference that it makes for you and your store and success in 2024. I use this tool. It's pretty useful. I use a whole bunch of tools, but this is definitely one of the best ones that I'm using right now. So let's get into my TikTok testing strategy. Okay, so here's a diagram I've basically made of my testing strategy, and my testing strategy is pretty simple on TikTok. So basically I make one testing campaign, which is an ABO, so that's an ad set budget optimization, where the budget is actually at the ad set level, which is why I've put the budget here. And I do completely broad targeting. Broad targeting for this campaign, we can target gender if you want to, and it needs to be 18 plus. So this is a testing campaign, ABO, broad targeting. We don't target any kind of interest or anything else in 2024 because TikTok's AI is actually really advanced now to actually find your audience within around 1 to 2 days when you give it completely broad targeting, and it has the liberty to do so. Completely broad targeting, don't waste money targeting interest, it's just an absolute scam. So 18 plus, broad targeting, and this is going to be an ABO campaign. So this is my current testing strategy. Now we have a few different ad sets. The ad sets that we have is basically going to be how many ads you actually want to test. So as you can see here, I've assigned 4 different ad sets. You can have as many ad sets as you want. I'd recommend testing at least 3 to 4 ad sets. Now, since the budget's at the ad set level, we're going to assign $20 to each ad set. This gives us enough budget to test each creative. So in each ad set, we're going to have 1 ad creative. So that's 1 video in each single ad set, and the budget's going to be at the ad set level. So we're going to spend $20 on 1 creative, which should be more than enough to see if it converts and it works. If you're in a different country, like the UK, for an example, I'm originally from the UK, so I use pounds. So this would be £20 for me. If you're in euros, it would be €20. It's basically the same. Even though the exchange rates for currencies have a different value, the ad platforms basically treat the figures as the same. So switch this for your currency. We're just going to work in dollars because it's like the global currency of commerce. So each ad set has 1 ad only, and if the ad set has a lot of add to carts when you actually test this after the first day, that shows some high purchase intent. Or if it has a good ROAS, that's something that we're looking for. So within 1 day, that should be a more than enough time to at least see some add to carts or purchase intent and at least get 1 sale. If you see 1 sale and some add to carts, you should probably run that for day 2. We want to basically test the ads within 2 days. So you want to spend maximum $40 per ad if you've got enough budget, just to make sure it's optimized completely. And if it has at least 1 purchase and a lot of add to carts, leave it on an extra day. On day 2, you want to see it to be profitable and have a good ROAS, otherwise kill it. So by day 2, I basically expect to see high purchase intent and a good ROAS. There should be more than enough time for TikTok to find the audience by then. Now, if it's not selling by day 2, then your product or your offer is just generally bad, okay? It's either the product, it's your offer, or the actual ad creatives themselves suck and they're edited really bad and just don't convert. If the ad creatives have a high click-through rate, that means that it at least piqued people's interest to click. So that means that people liked your ads, but your offer or your pricing is just terrible. So if you have a high click-through rate on your ad creatives, that's a good sign if they have good engagement. But if then they don't make the purchase, that means your offer or your pricing is not valuable enough. So make sure to assess the key performance indicators to figure out what your next next step's going to be. So when there's a good ROAS on this testing campaign, what I'd go ahead and do is I just bump up the budget. So if this has a good ROAS in ad set 2, I bump this up. Let's just say this has a 3.5 ROAS. I just double the budget from $20 to $40, and then I basically monitor the performance. I usually double them or increase them based on performance. You kind of need to get a knack for understanding this. You need to do a bit of testing yourself to understand what indicators are worth bumping up. Usually if it's a low cost per acquisition for the customer, so let's just say it costs me $5 to get a customer, so $5 ad spend to get a sale, and my break evens, let's say $10, that's profitable enough for me. So I would bump up the budget if I had a good ROAS and it was cheap to convert. So these are the kind of figures you need to look at. Double or increase based on performance. The higher the performance is, you can get away with bumping up more. So I'd increase budgets roughly every 2 to 3 hours if you're surf scaling, which is what I like to do, and I'll explain that a little bit more in a few moments. Let me just make a diagram of my scaling campaign so this makes sense for you. So next up, we're going to make what's called a scaling campaign, but we're not going to be using an ABO. We're going to be using what's called a CBO. So that's campaign budget optimization. Now, if you're used to Facebook ads, you'll know this as advantage campaign budget, means the same thing. CBO is basically a different type of campaign. So we're going to do the same metrics. So whatever targeting you had in the ABO, the testing campaign, we basically want to just copy that over here. So you want to replicate it. So if you're targeting US and Canada, target US and Canada in the scaling campaign. We want to keep all the variables that worked. If it's not broken, don't fix it, of course. So we're going to keep the same variables in our new CBO and the same targeting options. Now, for CBO, the budget is actually at the campaign level. So campaign budget optimization. So it's not at the ad set level, which means these ad sets here don't have a budget to them. So we can't individually spend a certain amount on each ad or ad set. So the budget's going to be in the campaign itself. So we're going to start this campaign at $50. That's the lowest spend we can do. So it's basically going to be a new CBA campaign at $50, and we're going to run this at 12 a.m. the next day to make sure that it evenly spends throughout the day. We can have as many ad sets as you want. I usually start with one ad set, and sometimes I'll duplicate that one ad set 2 or 3 times just so we can target a few different pockets of the audience. But you can use one ad set, it really doesn't matter. You can use one ad set and put all your winning ads in it, or you can do one ad set and then put like 3 of your winning ads in, another ad set with 3 or 4. You get the idea. It doesn't really matter the structure as long as you have some winning ads in an ad set at least, okay? Whatever ads worked well in the ad sets for your ABO, the testing campaign, throw them into the ad sets of your CBO because those ads have proven to be converting. Now, I'll usually have 1 to 3 ad sets, sometimes 1 to 4, but at a $50 budget, I'd use a maximum of 3 ad sets, to be honest. I won't go any higher than that. As you increase the budget, you can like get a 4th ad set. And I put multiple ads in each ad set. So you want to put 3 to 5 ads per ad set. So let's just put that here. So you want to put 3 to 5 ads per ad set. That's the optimal range. And then basically I scale the budget of the CBO in the exact same way. So if this CBO has a good ROAS and we're acquiring a purchase for an ad spend which is either low or below our break even, then I will surf it up. So let's say this is performing well. Let's say it's got a 4 ROAS and it's pretty cheap to convert. I would double the budget from 50 to 100, monitor the progress over the next 2 to 3 hours, and then double it again if it performs a similar number. So it's as easy as that. I basically just scale based on ROAS and performance. And what I do is something called surf scaling. So this basically means that I scale throughout the day, and it starts from the lowest budget. So every day at 12 a.m. I'll drop all the budgets on my ad sets and my campaigns to the lowest spend. So that would be $50. If I have ads that are working on the testing campaign, I will keep them at lowest $50. If it's a new ad, I'll obviously keep it at $20. But I'll drop my CBOs also to $50, and I'll basically just let them perform. If they perform well, I'll scale them up from $50, the lowest, to the highest, maybe up to like $300 or something throughout the day. I'll scale them up based on performance, and then yet again at 12 a.m. I'll drop them again because I don't want to spend money and waste money if it's not going to perform well. So I'm going to spend as little as possible and then scale it as high as I can throughout the day. This saves money. If it underperforms, what you can do is if this starts to not work when we put it up to $200, for an example, what we then would do is we'd put it down to the last budget which actually worked well. So let's say $100 was great, but 200 started to fall off. We drop it back to 100, monitor the progress, and go from there. This method of surf scaling requires a little bit more micromanaging. So if you don't have a lot of time, then maybe you want to increase budget slowly. So maybe day 1, we're going to go $50. If it performed well, day 2, we're going to go $100. That's if you don't want to surf scale or if you lack a lot of time. If you have a lot of free time, like I do, in my downtime, I have quite a lot of free time, then you can surf scale, monitor the budgets a little bit more frequently, and scale a little bit more aggressively. And it also saves money because because we're dropping the budgets at the start of the day, because typically around 12 a.m. most people go to sleep and they don't wake up till like 6 or 7 a.m. So that kind of like 6-hour period is usually a dry spell where you're just burning cash. That's what I found. So I don't really even sell during that window. I do day parting from like 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. or 11:30 p.m. and that performs the best for me. And I'd recommend day parting these campaigns because you're going to save yourself some money on spend when people aren't even awake in the country you're targeting. But it really matters which time zone they're in. So if you're selling to US, make sure to day part it for the hours where the US are actually awake. Especially, for an example, if you're from the UK but you're selling to the US, it's going to be in your time zone, GMT. So you need to figure out what hours in your time zone that the Americans are awake. You need to look at that closely, otherwise you're going to mess up. Not every ad that I've scaled though has been profitable. Sometimes I'll lose big money, okay? Like the past 2 days I lost quite a lot of money, but I'm always testing. So this campaign here, this scaling, this is pretty nice, right? But you don't want to give up on this campaign, the testing one, and you want to always be testing. So keep all the ad sets in here, all of these individual ads that do well, bump them up throughout the day, keep them, but you always want to be testing. So you always want to be adding new ad sets to this testing campaign. The reason being is because your ads are going to get creative exhaustion eventually, so they're going to start to die. So if you don't want your ads to die, then you need to make sure that you're always testing new ads, okay? So add new ads, multiple a day when you actually start making a good profit. Test them at $20. If they convert, then you can throw them in after a day or two into your scaling campaign and scale those up too. So always be testing. If you don't test, your campaign and your product's going to technically die, but that's mainly because your creatives are dying. I make an effort to make 10 to 15 new ad creatives every single week. I then throw them in the ABO campaign, testing one, which I showed you here. Test them, validate them first. Then if they work and convert, I throw them in this CBO, or I make another CBO with some new ads in, or a new ad set in a current CBO with the new ads in, and I just scale that up. That keeps the ads actually profitable once I prove they work well, because you have to validate them first in a testing campaign. This is my strategy though. Some people use a CBO for testing, which is effective too, but this is just the way that I do things and what's worked for me. So you can use other people's strategies if you want, but this is the way that actually works best for me. So the most important lessons here that you can take away from this video is you can't be complacent. If something's profitable, work on replicating it, make more creatives, test new markets. Don't just coast on profit until it starts dipping, because then that's when you're going to be scrambling. Make sure to prepare for when it does dip, so you've got new creatives, new markets to test in, especially on TikTok where creatives don't last long, and also competitors who rip your ads actually genuinely impact your performance. When some of my best creatives started to get ripped by other people copying me, those creatives dipped for me because they were actually outscaling me, because they had more money to spend than me, because this was my first winner of the year and my second winner in all. So basically they had more money to outscale me. So make sure you keep making new creatives, because people who copy you will mess you up. And remember, this is important. Creative, offer, and the market you're selling in all can make a product profitable which isn't converting well. You should test changing these variables before killing your product. I've literally proved it in this video to show you how I took a product with great potential into actually a profitable product. I could have scaled this higher, but unfortunately I didn't have the credit line to do so. I only just got a new credit card to actually make sure I could keep with cash flow. I've now removed PayPal, so I don't really even have a cash flow problem anymore. But my credit line was like £1,500, so I didn't have a lot, so I couldn't borrow a lot of money to scale. So I couldn't really scale this to the moon really quickly. So I'm having to do things slowly. But this is just a few lessons I learned, and hopefully you can use my testing scaling strategies and replicate the success which I've had this year. These are all results from January last month and current results from this month that are working right now for me. So I am actually using these methods right now, and they're actually working currently. So these probably work a lot better than a lot of these fake gurus are preaching, because they're actually current strategies. So use these. Hopefully you guys make a lot of money with them. I'm happy to help you guys out. Just let me know in the comments if these worked for you and if you made any money. And all I ask is just for you to like and subscribe. And if you want to learn how to do this, press the join button below on the channel. You can join my private Discord. I'm going to be giving away strategies like this. New strategies I find are going to be posted in there first, what's working for me, and also I'll reply to any questions you have in the Discord to help you guys out if you're kind of stuck or don't understand something. You can also message me on Instagram if you send me a DM at the Blue Crusader. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, that could be something which I could do with you. I'm only going to be taking like less than 5 people this year because I want to make sure people get real results. But if you're interested in actually getting some success this year, message me there or join the Discord, and I'll be happy to help as many people as we can. But make sure to like and subscribe, because I'm going to be posting more free value every single week on this channel, and I'll see you real soon.